Hello, and thank you for joining Starbright.One. We are presenting to the world the cosmic forces that align in harmonic coherence and ground themselves, stabilizing the earth with divine symmetrical proportions. Nature seeks order, and that's what these charts do, with the pickup sticks of random chaos that fall at any moment in time in a location on Earth. That's all astrology is it's three pieces of math. It takes the GPS coordinates of a location and adds the time and the date. And from that, these magnificent computer programs spit out just a bunch of lines that go from one object in the sky to another. And so for that moment in time-space, a pattern can be created if you just pick up those sticks that don't have a symmetrical balance on the other side by looking at one point in the circle of 360 degrees. Those 360 degrees are divided by 12 houses. And equally, there are 12 signs, such as Aries or Pisces. These houses are what make the lines radiate out, like a sunflower, petals might, or a star's rays might. And the most important lines that we focus on are the two crosshairs. The horizon line includes the ascendant at about 9 o'clock on a clock face, and the descendant at 3 o'clock. The ascendant is how we are perceived from the outside world. It has to do with our appearance. It shows our persona, more or less, how others receive our energy. And then the descendant, exactly 180 degrees on the other side, is how we send energy out, how we relate to the world. So one takes energy in, it shows on the ascendant exactly the moment in time when we first went and received the energies of the earth in, breathing for the first time when we were born. Likewise, on the other side, it shows how we send out energy at about 3 o'clock on the clock face, the DC or DSC, the descendant. It's very relational. The two lines that go up and down, at the top is the mid-heaven and medium coeli. And that was the top of the sky when we first took breath, if it's our birth chart, or the top of the sky for an event. The IC, or imum coeli, is the nadir, the very lowest part of the chart, and that is our deep, that shows our deep roots, our history. That can reach toward anything, past lives or family, generational history. It shows where we're most at home. It's the door to the fourth house, which is the moon's house. And so it's a comfort place for us. There's a lot to say about astrology. That's just a very simple introduction to how a chart is laid out. On the outer wheel, you'll see little symbols, and those are the signs, such as Pisces or Taurus or Virgo, that show which sign is in that section of the chart. And the numbers on a closer wheel to the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., through 12, show the number for that house. So, for instance, the 12th house is a very divine, spiritual house. It's a house of mystery, not mystery, but secrets. And it's kind of like the great astrologer Zsuzsanna Griga, she says how it's like we're wearing a backpack if we have something in that house, as I have my moon and my Saturn there. It's diffused energy. It's also unconditional divine love without boundaries. We are all one. Very beautiful, beautiful, psychic, intuitive, sponge-like energy, just taking everything in, empathic. So those are just some ideas of how we look at astrology. Now for Starbright.One and our Harmonic Coherence, the chart that's created using the whole chart, putting everything in symmetrical balance, is more or less a QR code for your eyes to gaze upon and receive information that's very settling and grounding. It's not necessarily something to analyze with your brain because it's very complex and that could be overwhelming. But there are the young among us, and some others as well, who can just take in that information and instantly understand something that is beyond words. They're also fun to look at and see all the high potentials. I love actually seeing the wonderful messages in each one of those lines and how they harmonize together. They are an infinite energy pattern, each one, unless they have a line that isn't connected to something else and it shoots the energy out into space. There are very few that are created here at Starbright.One that way. And so they hum with their own hue of vibration. Everything's a sound or light wave, and it all reduces just down to one. We each have our own unique quaver. We quiver with our own radiance of sound and light, each individual human, each soul. And so many humans who are heroes all over the planet, past and present, have been drawn. There are 8 billion people on this planet, and many more have lived before. And this one humble human who handcrafts each one of these charts has only so much time. So please know that some of our greatest people, some of our greatest contributors, not that there's a hierarchy or that some are better than others, but that some who have contributed an enormous amount of their life force to our community, our collective individuality. They are not here, many are not. So don't feel sad if you don't see yourself here, or sad that your person that you revere has not been shown. It is not possible for me to do this for everybody. And so for those who I know are very, very much already receiving a lot of attention, or just for whatever reasons, I was allowed to shine the light on some more obscure wonders of people in our world who many don't know. I didn't know. And then others, there are some I was drawn to who are very well known just because I like their energy and I wanted to see what it looked like in a chart. I have a huge list of others I have not yet gotten to. And then something else comes along in the moment that I must respond to and share and create and share. So I wanted to give you that information, and also to say, I don't charge for my services. These are a labor of love. We receive air to breathe. It's divinely filled with the love of our prime creator and all the other creator beings like us who share this air. It is a gift that sustains us, and it is an involuntary thing we do. Breathing, you try and stop, and you can't do it for long. We are gifted to breathe, and we don't pay for it. We are gifted the warm sunshine, and we don't pay for that. And in the same way, when I receive messages for a moment in time that have something to share from the angelic realms or from some aspect of the cosmos or the earth, then that is given to me freely. We are moving into a currency of light. The angels don't charge you for their protection. You have bodyguards around you and soul guides. There are immense fleets of ETs in our skies, and none of them are charging anything. those wonderful neighbors all around, mostly unseen. They're not doing anything except gifting us the love in their hearts. And that's what I hope you'll find in these charts. The massive heart of our cosmos, centered in one time space here on Earth. If you see a location and you don't know where it is and you think, well, I wasn't there at that moment, it can't apply to me, well then, stop thinking. Because it's timeless and the energy has been grounded by my just creating the chart. So it exists and you can stare at it, gaze at it, just look at it, glance at it. You don't have to spend much time, or you can just meditate on it. You don't have to think about it. If it feels good to look at it, look at it. If there's something in that chart that draws you, it's speaking to you directly about your own inner experience. It doesn't have anything to do with how I experienced it, or interpreted it, or labeled it. Unless that's something that is comforting or interesting to you. To enjoy the wonders of our cosmos. The angels have been flooding these charts. I'll say a little bit more to the astrologers. Because we've been playing, the angels will send a message about the 4 angels of the apocalypse, but apocalypse just means revelation. It doesn't mean there's something bad that's going to happen. It doesn't have to be something bad. And what is bad anyway? It's all relative. So the angles, they'll send, the way these charts are able to be created is because we use the angles, that horizon and up and down vertical line. Those are called the angles. So we call it the 4 angles of the apocalypse, and we could draw all these charts. And that's just an astrology term. To draw a chart means to create it and then present it. So there are many, many, many that look like angels. And the only way that is created, the only way, is by me, their scribe. It's not my brilliance. It's brilliance that has been given to me. Just channeled, you could say. It's just, I get the moment in time, and then I take away, I point it in one direction, let's say to Neptune, wherever Neptune is in that chart, or Venus, and then from there, I take away anything on either side of that one central line that's not in balance, that doesn't have a mirror on the other side. And when I do that, then you see the most incredible shapes. There also are 23,000 named asteroids out of about 1 million asteroids that zoom around, and other objects like them, that zoom around our solar system. So if you find something that sounds similar to what you're trying to express or identify, then you can use that. And so in this way, I'm quite familiar with the ones I have found helpful and illuminating to use, the archetypal ones. There was a magnificent astrologer whose name I don't know, called IQ or Hygeia, on oh my gosh, I can't remember, Linda Goodman's astrology, I think there's a website for that where a lot of people would chime in years ago with more information. And he had, or she had, identified the archetypal asteroids for star seeds, if you see them on personal planets or angles, more than 1 or 2, or on a royal star, one of the archangel stars, then you would probably be dealing with a person in that chart, whose natal chart it was, who was a star seed, meaning coming from another star system, another star family, to this one here on Earth, to bring in energies that were needed at this time of ascension as our species of human beings evolves as one into a collective higher consciousness. In lighter bodies, we're lightening up, literally, slowly evolving that way. Since our sun moved into a different photonic part of the galaxy, after 2012. We're literally being lightened up each time we breathe, each day we're alive. It's a glorious time to be here. Anyway, I use those asteroids as they appear to be guided for me, to use them. And I will then expand perhaps a chart if it shows that it is calling to be expanded, if I'm tuned in enough to see that or be aware that that's how I'm being guided. So, and what does being guided mean? Some of you might ask, I hear that question, is it's our own thoughts that are on a higher level. Our angelic guidance, or guidance like that, the higher nature that we all hold, is only going to ask us to do positive things, loving things, compassionate things. And so if we have an idea for something that lights us up, most likely it's coming from our divine guides. They're all around us all the time. And we think we're so brilliant. We're actually being co-created with them. And they are so good to us. And that's what shows in these charts, especially the ones of how the angels show up when I take out those lines that aren't in symmetry, and then all of a sudden an angel will appear. Especially if I add something like Seraphina or angel or spirit to the combination of lines, and then an angel appears. So it's really just an incredible way to explore life on Earth within this cosmos of ours. I hope that you find them buoying and uplifting. The colors were very carefully crafted. Colors on the other side of Earth are in a higher vibration, and so they're much more intense. It's not black and white, it's technicolor. And so those colors are here in the chart, and they have emotional meanings to them. The colors do. Sometimes, so they also have psychic meanings. If it's really bright color, like a purple, electric purple, there's a very psychic or genius quality to that placement, that object, such as the vertex or Uranus. Electrifying energy is what those two objects are, and they enter vertex as well. So I have them in like an electric purple. Likewise, the sun, if you see the symbol of the sun, it's a circle with a little dot in the middle. And that's what a chart of astrology looks like as well, at least in Western tropical astrology, which is the type I draw. I use Placidus system, and because that's what I first was drawn to. And that's what my esteemed role model at the time when I first was learning, teaching myself, being guided, was Donna Cunningham. And that's what she used, so I figured, well, if that's what she uses, I'm drawn to her humanity and how she uses astrology. So that's what I used, was Placidus. But I have found that it doesn't matter what system you use. You can use Vedic astrology and you'll come with the basic same information, just in a different way. Just as though you were in an art class and you were asked to go create an image about the sunset. And some people will take a digital video camera and it will be brilliant. Someone else will do a black and white pencil sketch, and it too will be brilliant. All the same thing, expressed in different ways. So in that way, the circle of the astrology wheel for Starbright.One is yellow, just like the sun's glyph or icon in astrology is yellow. And it has a dot in the middle of the chart, just as the sun does. The dot in the middle of the chart, or the circle in the middle, is you on Earth, if it's your birth chart, taking breath for the first time, or if it's an event, such as someone's passing, or the birth of a nation, or just news that you got a new job, something like that. Or your husband just, said, "I love you, honey," right? You wanted to like see what brought that, what energy was behind that. You could draw a chart for all these things. And the chart would have the outside circle of the cosmos, and on the inside is Earth with that moment in time space, the GPS coordinates, the time, and the date, all centering into this one series of lined aspects within the circle. And so, borrowing the glyph of the sun in astrology, the Starbright.One charts are yellow because your birth chart, which is what I mostly draw, although increasingly I receive messages, but they're just birthing a moment in time. The most brilliant expression of who you are in this lifetime is your sun. It's radiant, creative, sunny energy. It's romantic and dramatic. It's playful, it's risky. It is life-giving, right? It is your life force. It is your consciousness. It can be childlike, playful. And so that's what I perceive these charts to be, and that's why they're colored that way. So I know there were a lot of questions that have arisen as to why these charts look the way they do and how they're done. That's how they're done. The antivertex and vertex are used, as well as the south node and the north node of the moon, the 4 angles, the main, the 9 objects in the sky, the 2 luminaries, and then the planets out to Pluto, and then the 4 main goddess asteroids, although Ceres is a dwarf planet. Ceres, Vesta, Pallas Athena, or Pallas, and Juno, the ideal partner. All of those 4 are used in addition to 2 other goddess asteroids, and those are Hygeia, the goddess of health. She is the healthy embodiment of health, as opposed to the shamanic wounded healer, Chiron, who is a brilliant teacher and so kind and wise. But he is a male energy, and also a wise energy who is unhealed. He cannot heal himself. He's wounded and can't heal his own wound, but he can heal other people. And he's magnificent. He shows us where we can heal ourselves. Hygeia is a different type of healer. She's very proactive health. She's a goddess full of life and vigor and really pure health. So because we are at this time of ascension, welcoming back in the divine feminine to balance her in equality and equanimity with the divine male, because the feminine, as we know, for thousands of years, has not been quite on the same level of pleasure and enjoyment and freedom and as the males have been on this planet. So in all women and men, the divine feminine is being returned and paired with the divine masculine. And that is why the last asteroid I use is Estrella. Estrella is like Virgo Libra energy. She is the daughter of dusk and dawn. She is the returning divine feminine. She heralds the golden age. She was the last god, actually a goddess, but she was the last of the gods to leave the earth when the golden age fell, the last one before the one we're stepping into now. She was the very last. She stayed till the end and was quite distraught at what the earth fell into, how we fell from grace, and descended into some times that kind of seem a little bit like now, the chaos that's going on all around in order to birth this new earth, where we all can enjoy being one collective. Estrella is the first to return. She was brought up to the heavens and laid down in the Milky Way as the constellation Virgo. the young virgin, the Jungfrau, as they say in German, and the young woman. So she wears a shorter skirt, not ankle length. But she is complete unto herself, is Virgo, and she's a healer. She's wise, and she is of service. She is healthy, and she's a worker. She is becoming more of a beer now, after having laid down so long in the stream of the Milky Way. And as Astrea returns, we are more beers than we are doers. I welcome Astrea back into our world. I welcome you to Starbright.One, in whichever platform you're viewing it. I trust that you will find some nourishment in these beautiful sacred geometries. Let your luminous atoms rise into the light and enjoy the magnificence we are rising into here on earth. I send you my love and best wishes. I'm a big hermit, and I'll feel your love through the ether. Take good care. Be well. I wish you well.